Former Minister T. Mangi Babu of Thanga Assembly constituency passes away. MPCC leaders members pay last respect to his mortal remains at 𝐶𝐲. All tanker drivers launch steer, halt unloading of fuel at oil depot, long queues since morning at oil pumps. And Manipur prepared to welcome protect migratory bird Amur falcon next month. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Northeast Window. This is CELINA giving you the latest news updates at this hour. Now the news in detail. Senior Congress leader Tongbram Mangi Babu, who represented Thanga Assembly constituency in the Manipur State Legislative Assembly, has passed away due to an illness yesterday. The lifeless body of the former minister was brought to the Congress Bhawan on BT Road this afternoon, where members and leaders of the MPCC led by CLP leader 𝐶𝐲 paid their last respects by offering floral tribute to the leader. Addressing media persons on the sidelines of the condolence meet, 𝐶𝐲 said, "It is unfortunate for all the members of the MPCC to be able to pay the last floral tribute to the dedicated congressman who was not only an elected representative of Thanga Assembly constituency for several terms, but was a minister of the state government." Recounting his love for the Congress party and his contribution to the welfare of the party, 𝐶𝐲 lamented that his demise will leave a void in the party. Remembering the deceased idols and love for the motherland, 𝐶𝐲 vowed to work for betterment of the party and fulfill the dreams and aspirations of the deceased congressman.
ꯏꯀꯪ Thanga Assembly constituency natana state asigi maruoiba asauba thodang lawiduna cabinet minister hobo obiramaba akoina Oja Mangi Babu haina khangnaba Tongbram Oja Mangi Babu na ngasi ꯏꯀꯪ ꯈꯪꯍꯧꯗꯅ ꯂꯩꯈꯤꯗꯕꯗ akoi Congress party gi haiba tare akoi mayam pumnamakna magi mafamda aroiba bidai pidna angamba leimanam tawrsu haimanam tawsu katsaba phangbusi koi party karmi khudingmakidi laibak phabani haidana ai sumaina thamjage aduga koi Oja Mangi Babu se yamna dedicated oiba yamna party bu nungsijaba maru oiba worker ama koi maraktagi laikhidabase koi gi yamna laibak thibani mangna pibiramba contribution mayam singdo koi matam punamakta kaubol leiraroi magna pamjaramba ningjaramba aduga magna party gi dangda kathok piramba singadu koi congress ki worker ama moina koi punamakna hotnaminaba darka oi haina ai sumaina thamjari.
Former Minister Tongbram Mangi Babu was born in February 1948 at Moirangkuno, Mamang Lekai. He first contested elections in the 6th State Legislative Assembly elections in 1995 on Janata Dal United ticket and became an elected representative of Thanga Assembly constituency. Mangi Babu left JDU in 1996 to join Indian National Congress and served as Vice Chairman of Manipur State Planning Board. He also served as Earth and Culture Minister in 1997 and worked for the welfare of the people. Oil tankers drivers today launched steer, halting unloading of fuel at oil depot at Malom against open firing at oil tankers by unknown miscreants on National Highway 39, Imphal-Jiribam Road, when they were approaching Imphal. Window panes were broken in the attack. Long queues were seen at oil pumps since early this morning after a stand to shut down oil pumps against the attack was announced yesterday. All Manipur Petroleum Products Transporters Associations and all Manipur Petroleum Drivers Associations have also appealed to all oil pumps to stop supplying fuel. The associations have threatened to cease work if relevant authorities do not take responsibility and stop these attacks. It may be recalled that unknown miscreants had carried out similar attack on 9th of last month. Talks were held with the Chief Secretariat as well, however such attacks continue. Forest officials and animal lovers of Zeliangrong Naga-dominated Tamenglong district of Manipur have all prepared to welcome and take multitasking measures to protect their winged guest, Amur falcons, even as the district administration has put a ban on hunting, catching, killing and selling of the birds and air guns during the rapture's roosting period, a report of DIPR said. The long-distance migratory birds usually arrived in Manipur, mostly in Tamenglong and neighboring Nagaland in mid-October from their breeding grounds in southeastern Siberia and northern China, wildlife experts said. After staying for around a little more than a month, the falcons, locally known as 𝐶𝐢𝐯, depart the state and fly towards southern and eastern parts of Africa and roost a short time before moving towards their breeding grounds, they added. Manipur forest officials, Tamenglong as well as Ren Forest Club Tamenglong RCT, a local animal lovers unit, have lined up a series of programs to spread awareness among the villagers to protect and show their love to the winged guests during their stint, the report said. As done in the previous years, Amur Falcon Dance Festival will also be held by the forest authorities in collaborations with RCT next month. As part of the ensuing program to safeguard Amur falcons, the Forest Department will soon engage village volunteers for carrying out patrolling along with the forest guards at the roosting sites to thwart any attempt to kill the birds. Divisional Forest Officer Tamenglong Amandip said. The IPR also quoted Amandip saying that this time the Forest Department is planning to take satellite transmitters on 2 healthy birds to study their migratory routes, and for this purpose, they have contacted scientists of Wildlife Institute of India. The measures to protect, safeguard and mystify the Amur falcon as a joint initiative of the community along with the State Forest Department is a welcome development of recent times that has successfully thwarted to a large-scale poaching of the migratory birds in the district by the then unaware villagers, the report added. The National Investigation Agency, on instructions from the Ministry of Home Affairs, is probing at least 3 Kuki militant groups and 1 Jomi militant group as forces behind the unrest in Manipur. The MHA said these groups intend to create an independent Chin Kuki Jomi state out of Manipur, Bangladesh and Myanmar. 2 of the groups are under suspension of operation agreement with the Government of India, a report said. Sources said the instructions had been passed on in July and the agency has been probing the link between these militant groups and the violence in Manipur. The militant organizations have been identified as Kuki National Army, KNA, Jomi Revolutionary Army, ZRA, Kuki National Front, Nelun Faction, and United Kuki Liberation Army. Both KNA and ZRA are under SU agreement. The MHA has been holding talks with the representatives of their political wings for several years. Before violence broke out, these talks focused on achieving a peace deal with tribal groups in the hills of Manipur. Since May, these talks have focused on establishing normalcy in the state and finding a political solution to the crisis. An NIA probed into their activities could put significant pressure on the groups, the report said. It added that NIA had similarly booked NSCN-IM for terror funding even as the center signed the framework agreement with the group for further talks on sealing the Naga peace deal. Notably, over a month before violence broke out in the state, the Manipur government had in March decided to withdraw from the suspension of operation agreements with KNA and ZRA. However, the center did not follow suit. Sources said MHA has also told NIA that these groups are getting support from People's Defense Force, PDF, in Myanmar. PDF has been fighting against military junta in Myanmar since the 2021 coup. It has been learned that some Manipur-based Kuki militant groups are being provided funds from Chin Kuki Jo groups in Myanmar to perpetrate violence in the Imphal Valley. They have been asked to procure weapons and ammunition which are coming from Myanmar and some other northeast states. They are supposed to create a separate 𝐂𝐲 state by hiving off area from Manipur, Bangladesh and Burma, an official said, summarizing the communication sent to NIA. An MHA official said these groups have allegedly been providing training to local people, and armed men have been pushed to the foothills to target people in the valley. They have also been targeting security forces in sniper attacks, the official said, quoting the MHA communication, the report added. World Mental Health Day 2023 was observed on the theme Mental Health is a Universal Human Right at Government Dance College, Palace Compound yesterday. The program was jointly organized by Departments of Clinical Psychology, RIMS, and Peace Committee Wangkhai Kendra. As a part of the observance, a drawing competition for children and counseling session were organized under the supervision of Head of Clinical Psychology Department RIMS, Dr. Samita Ngairangbam. Cash prizes were also distributed to the winners of the competition on the occasion. Universal Friendship Organization UFO will organize Langban Haisoi Katpa ritual on 13th of this month in the adjoining area of Lilong Irong Ahumpangba Iril River and Imphal River as a mark of respect to those Meitei souls who sacrificed their lives fighting the Kuki terrorists. In a press release, Media Coordinator of UFO, T. Wanglan Meitei, appealed to all CSOs, women, elders, students and youth to take part in the prayer program. Maitrabak Chanura, Thawal District and Nupi Tengbang Lup Thawal Athokpam jointly provided edible items and monetary assistance to inmates at relief camps set up at Ajad Higher Secondary School, Yaripok. Volunteers of Konglei Park News Tengbang Loop KNTL provided monetary assistance of 10,000 rupees to MMA fighter Bembem Thongnausam of Top Makhalaikai, who has been selected to take part in the World Championship. A few days ago, story of Bembem went viral on social media that she could not afford to buy flight tickets to take part in the championship. Volunteers of Konglei Park News Tengbang Loop took out a fund drive and handed over the amount to Bembem. Sapam Reena Devi, a volunteer of the Loop, appealed to the public to extend possible help to Bembem. Pauna Ningsing Loop, Panil and Pangram Mairapaibi condoled the untimely demise of Maitan Kaisam Niranjan Singha Khoiren, who served as president of All Assam Manipuri Students Union, Central Committee and former General Secretary of AAMSU. Thoidingzam Binoy Singha Goisaipur, who was also the General Secretary of Pauna Ningsing Loop. In a condolence meeting held at Udarbon, Pangram, near the statue of Pauna Brajabasi today, a 2-minute silence was observed by the attendees. Advisor of the union, Saikom Kamlakanta, said, "Today's youth will not forget the role of Niranjan in the history of AAMSU." Speaking on the occasion, Laishram Satyajit said the bust of Pauna Brajabasi at Pangram is a hard work of late Laikhidraba Binoy, Longjam Mera Chauba, Seram Hirajit, Kamini Singha, Provarani Sarma, Lakhi Babu Singha and Merapaibis attended the condolence meeting. Let's take a short break.
years of trusted diagnostic service, Babina Diagnostics.
Welcome back. Now the national news. External Affairs Minister 𝐁𝐄𝐯 today said that India will continue its approach of contributing to build capacity, secure safety and security in the Indian Ocean region, including as first responder and a net security provider. In his address at the opening sessions of the 23rd Indian Ocean Rim Association Council of Ministers as India assumes the role of Vice Chair, 𝐁𝐗 stated, India's commitment to the well-being and progress of nations of the Indian Ocean is based on the neighborhood first policy, the Sagar outlook, our approach to the extended neighborhood and to the Indo-Pacific. A multilateral rules-based international order, along with sincere respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, remains the foundations for reviving the Indian Ocean as a strong community, he added. Emphasizing that India's priorities as the Vice Chair and a member of the Troika are clear, 𝐁𝐗 stated that India at New Delhi will continue to make efforts to develop an Indian Ocean community that is stable, prosperous, strong and resilient. It is thus important to maintain the Indian Ocean as a free, open and inclusive space based on the UN Convention on the Laws of the Sea, as the Constitution of the Seas, he said. Now the international news. Israel said it recaptured Gaza border areas from the Hamas group as the fierce fighting entered day fight, leaving thousands killed on both sides. There was also an exchange of fire between Israel and forces in Syria last evening. The death count in Israel has surged above 1,200 from the worst attack in the country's history, while Gaza officials have reported 900 people killed so far. Israel Army also said it had recovered the bodies of around 1,500 Hamas operatives inside Israel. At least 30 people were killed in the overnight strikes by Israel targeting Hamas boats in Gaza. Israel Army said fighter jets destroyed advanced detection systems that Hamas used to spot military aircraft. The Palestinian group has threatened to execute one hostage every time Israel drops a bomb, without warning, on a Palestinian home in the Gaza Strip. The group has 150 hostages, including children. The threat came after Israel imposed a total cease on the Gaza Strip, cutting off the water supply. The move has sparked fears that an already dire humanitarian situation will further deteriorate. The Israel Army yesterday said there had been a number of launches from Syria into Israeli territory. Soldiers are responding with artillery and mortar shells towards the origin of the launching in Syria. An Israeli army statement said, Hamas fired rocket towards Israel from Lebanon as well on Tuesday, prompting Israeli attacks on positions belonging to Hezbollah. Russian President Vladimir Putin has denounced the recent outbreak of violence between Israel and Palestinians, asserting that the failure of the US policy in the Middle East, which neglected Palestine's legitimate needs for an independent state, is to be blamed for the latest attack on the West Asian nation. During discussions with visiting Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani, Putin seized the moment to attribute the sharp escalations to years of US policy in the region. Putin emphasized that he thinks many people will agree with him that this is a vivid example of the failure of the United States policy in the Middle East. He criticized Washington for attempting to monopolize peace efforts and accused it of overlooking workable compromises. He highlighted the United Nations' disregard for Palestinian interests, notably their aspiration for an independent Palestinian state. However, Putin made no reference to Russia's involvement in the Middle East peace process, where it has been a part of the quartet, along with the United States, the United Nations, and the European Union since 2002, assisting in mediating efforts. A powerful earthquake struck Herat province in Afghanistan near the border with Iran early today, several days after two major quakes in the same area killed more than 800 people. The magnitude of 6.3 temblor struck northwestern Afghanistan at 5:22 a.m. local time at a depth of about 10 kilometers according to the US Geological Survey. The epicenter was just outside Herat city, the provincial capital and cultural hub. The latest quake sent people in Herat city running out of their homes for the second time in 5 days. Thousands of others had already been sleeping outside in tents or in makeshift shelters made of blankets and tarp, still terrified from the dual quakes that rocked the area Saturday. Inside the Ugg Hotel, a team of New York Times journalists felt the world shake violently and the building sway. Bright lights illuminating the hallway flickered and went dark as gas rained out of the building. When the shaking subsided, part of the concrete walls broke off and pieces of ceiling in some rooms crashed to the floor. Shahid Latif, the alleged mastermind and key coordinator of the 2016 terror attacks in Pathankot, was reportedly shot dead by some unknown assailants in Pakistan today. Shahid Latif, a Jaish-e-Mohammed-linked terrorist, was reportedly shot dead in a mosque locating on the outskirts of Sialkot. The attackers later fled from the scene on a motorcycle. Local police then cordoned off the area. Latif was wanted by the National Investigative Agency in an Unlawful Activities Prevention Act case. He was a senior member of the Pakistan-backed terror outfit, Jaish-e-Mohammed, which took responsibility for the 2016 attack on the Indian Air Force base in Pathankot. In January 2016, a heavily armed group attacked the Pathankot Air Force Station. Latif is believed to have orchestrated the 2016 Pathankot terror attack and hatched the entire plot from Sialkot. He even sent down the 4 dreaded Jem terrorists to Pathankot to execute the attack. In 1994, Latif was arrested from Jammu in a case related to narcotics and terrorism. He was deported back to Pakistan via the Wagah border in 2010 after serving a 16-year-long jail term. Before we end, let's take a quick look at the headlines once again. Former Minister T. Mangibabu of Thanga Assembly constituency passes away. MPCC leaders, members pay last respect to his mortal remains at Congress Bhawan. Oil tankers drivers launch still, halt unloading of fuel at oil depot. Long queues seen since morning at oil pumps. And Manipur prepared to welcome protect migratory bird Amur falcon next month. And that is all we have for now, but for more news updates, keep watching Northeast Window.